Hello everybody, it's Vertical Sandwich. This video is going to be all Marcello. All of it. It's ridiculous. But we'll wrap up with him.
The Lord High Priest dies from shock, and the High Priest out of the picture too. This is better than I ever could have hoped.
So this is Marcello being evil.
My head! I can't bear it! What's happening?
My flesh and blood are trapped, sealed away by those infernal sages.
The reason I included this scene
Who is it?
is because I like that Marcello can like outwill like the Lord of Darkness.
A new hand to hold the scepter, a new body to control. You are a slave to the scepter. You will obey my command.
I obey no one!
That's so creepy. Just stab yourself in the arm to keep that thing from taking over.
I'm notoriously bad at taking orders.
Okay, now here's the thing. I'm not I'm taking breaks from watching the movie The Avengers to record the post-commentary audio on this. I did the gameplay earlier today. And I'm struck by kind of the evil dictator figure with long, straight black hair carrying a glowing staff around. I'm not saying that either of those two things took from the other one. But, like, there's a certain synchronicity to doing one and then doing the other.
There are those intent on making spurious allegations about the circumstances surrounding his passing. But I can assure you, he died a natural death.
Now, interestingly enough, I never slept at the Riverside Chapel after getting Angela.
Of becoming the next
So,
Lord High
I never
Priest.
saw the backstory where he talks to Trode.
Or rather, I have no intention
And it shows
of becoming
like
another
him and
hollow
Marcello.
idol, like all
So
those we
after
have had to endure until now.
after advancing the
ask
plot
you,
as far as I could, because I'm
what
up to the
is
last
a
battle with
king?
Rapthorn.
A king is but a man.
I tried
born
sleeping at the
into
chapel
the
thinking
right
I would get that cutscene and I
family.
didn't. So it's gone
Should
forever.
that give him the right to do whatever he pleases? Be waited on hand and foot and answer to no man?
Also, I've realized
A
that
soldier
there's a big
demanding
problem
such
with me doing an
treatment
Angelo
would
free
never
playthrough,
be tolerated.
which is you have to have
Even
all
if such a
characters
soldier
alive and using
had the
items in the last
stature of a
battle.
king.
So.
He would never be allowed
So
to
I'm gonna be
escape the
trying to do that
social
with an Angelo
class
who's level
into
12.
which he was born.
It'll be fun.
I am
Just so
such
you know
a
what's coming
soldier,
up. Like, we still have
born
the
out of
Black
wedlock.
Citadel to go through.
and thrown out of my own home. A commoner, like me, has no right to be Lord High Priest. That is the belief of the Church. Yes! Such positions of weighty responsibility should be filled exclusively by incompetent aristocrats. Our great, noble, and righteous holiness. Whatever did he achieve? A sorrowful prayer for our uncertain world? Perhaps. But certainly nothing more. The Lord High Priest, our kings, our goddess, all of them reign over us from their high, exalted thrones. Each one as useless as the next. But I am different. For I have not one drop of nobility in my veins. Yet I am here, and only as a result of nothing but my own merit.
Yeah, and Angela or Marcello's plan is not very good.
Follow me. It is time to oust our artless rulers. It is time to choose a new leader.
Yeah, he would have to be I mean, because the idea that people would follow him as some sort of god, like, that's not usually the way human religion works.
So, you have a choice. Follow me. Or meet your fate, just as those intruders shall.
And I suppose I actually spoke too soon, because I suppose if the magic with the scepter is powerful enough to fend off an army, then he could probably do what he wants, and at least install himself as some sort of dictator. But, like, anybody politically who's ever tried to co-opt a religious institution has always failed. It ended up, like, splintering the religious institution and stuff. It's not, I mean, like the Avignon popes and stuff like that. It's like entire monarchies taking on the Catholic Church and things. It's just not a great plan.
You should have stayed away. But if you stand between me and my destiny,
You leave me no choice.
All right, so it's time to beat up Marcello. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's like, I suppose he can take over whatever as long as he can militarily keep himself, from being murdered and stuff. I don't. But it really seems like that there would be, entire sections of the hierarchy of the church that would abandon him. Like, you can't just change people's beliefs by going like, oh, you've spent your whole life building your philosophies around the goddess, but she's useless. And, like, people would be like, yeah, you're right. Like, I'm going to follow you because you're really powerful. People would be like, no, an underground church would start. There would be break-offs of, like, the hierarchy of the church. Like, again, not a great plan. I mean, a good plan if you want, like, dystopic chaos, anarchy, war in the streets kind of thing. And Marcello is not being controlled by the scepter. Like, it's made very clear at the end of this fight that, like, this is him. Like, he's doing that, which makes it more despicable. Like, you could forgive Dual Magus for being, like, controlled by the scepter for most of kind of his reign of terror, and obviously we completely forgive Jessica, and you gotta, I mean, Leopold isn't even, like, really, he's a dog. So, we know, but, like, Marcello is not in that situation. Like, you can't, the game takes great pains to show how kind of underhanded and, so, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting stuff to think about, I suppose. I would have liked to, I was thinking while I was playing this that, like, I really think that a sequel to this game would have been a lot of fun. Cause, like, Marcello, like, you never hear from him. Like, his plot line is left completely resolved. Like, at the end of the game, theoretically, everybody's running around. And, like, it would have been fun to continue the story of, like, Jessica and Yengus and Red and, your hero and Medea and King Trode and stuff. Like, it would have been a hoot. And, like, I think you can build a really good plot line, centered around, like, the return of Angelo as a villain. Or the return of Marcello. I always refer to Marcello as Angelo because I haven't had Angelo in this entire playthrough. I don't know why I keep thinking of him that way. But yeah, like, the return of Marcello could be a lot of fun for the plot line for a Dragon Quest game, I think. Because the likelihood of him being, the likelihood of him being, like, somehow redeeming himself, he, like, completely, there's some decent aspects to him, but the like, entire plot line of this game, he's kind of, like, a guy willing to torture the innocent and, like, enslave people. I mean, he's a good villain. Like... In fact, I actually think, as far as kind of the hierarchy of villains in this game, like, Marcello's probably the best developed of them. That, like, if you know what's going to happen in this game, like, Rapthorn is very briefly dealt with. I mean, like, he's a thing running behind the scenes, but, like, effectively, the villain in this game is kind of the Scepter. And, Dulmegus is a creepy jester or whatever. But he doesn't have many lines. He doesn't have a very full backstory. So, like, Marcello is a good villain. Yeah, and actually, if you ran this plotline into the future, we could deal with what happens to the Prince of Argonia in the future.
I don't believe it. How could you?
Yeah, so this is the moment where the Scepter takes control of him. And it changes him physically. It's very obvious.
I must thank you. He has been a stubborn one, but with your help, I can finally control this flesh as my own. Now that this fool has disposed of the Lord High Priest for me, the final heir is no more, and the seal of the scepter is broken. Yes, the time has come for my resurrection.
So there you go. Clearly, Marcello has done a lot of evil things,
Now,
including kill the Lord High Priest.
complete my revival. My revival to flesh and blood.
And this really creeps me out, the throw right into the statue's throat. Like, it's such a beautifully kind of symbolic, death of this gigantic holy symbol. Game designers really know what they're doing sometimes, people. I'm telling you. Not a huge fan of the evil face that briefly appears, but you win some, you lose some. I do also have a little quandary about, like, I wonder, okay, now, was there an evil castle buried underneath the holy city? Or did Rapthorn use his magic to create an evil castle? Like... Or did he transform the existing, like, cathedral? These are all important questions, people! I actually don't know, I'm just saying that, like, stuff is weird. Because it would have been nice if somebody who knew the legend would have mentioned it. Oh, by the way, there's an evil castle underneath the holy city of Neos. What you should do is avoid getting the evil scepter anywhere near there. And, whatever. So I did make it a point to go around to all the people that are shown in this cutscene and talk to them to see if there was any kind of additional dialogue. The only additional spoken dialogue we get that's triggered by this cutscene is the dialogue with Red, which I'll probably show because it's spoken dialogue and she's an interesting kind of side character. Now, okay, this bothered that guy who looks like he's cheering. He's really bothered me in my LP and really bothers me now. Although I do like that you completely forget about Calderosh until you see him here and you go, oh yeah, there's a fortune teller like we dealt with early in the game. Which is like 60 hours of gameplay in the past for me now. I also like that the blind guy sees the evil sky change in the reflection. It would be creepy to see the sky just change color like that. I was in an area of Ohio once when I was still doing archaeological survey work and stuff. And we were staying in this hotel. And we're watching the Weather Channel. We're just watching tornadoes touch down. Like, they're just putting, like, emblems up where they're touching down. It wasn't even like there were warnings. I mean, clearly there was a tornado warning active. But we're just watching, like, them literally just hit areas around us. And somebody's like, hey, come out here, look at the sky, it's green. And I was like, okay, you know, you hear that, like, the sky turns green. And, like, I went outside, and it was, like, lime green. It's, like, a thing you never forget. It's just, you see it, you just go. It was so creepy. So, this video is going to end at the end of this this deal here.
What? What are you doing? Let me go. If you hadn't interfered, I could have had all of Rapthorn's power. But it's all over now. All hope is gone. Let me go. I don't want your help.
He should let him go.
No, I won't let you die. You will go on living, knowing that the brother you despised your whole life took
Why
pity
does
on
his
you.
voice sound familiar?
I won't let you have everything your own way.
You're determined to disgrace me more? You!
Oh, he sounds like the character Eugene from Tangled.
More than 10 years. It was more than 10 years ago that I first came to the Abbey, having lost my family. And you were the first person I spoke to. I had nothing. No family, no home. I was all alone, and I didn't know anyone at the Abbey. You were kind to me. Just for those first few moments. You were genuinely kind. As soon as you found out who I was, it changed everything. But I never forgot that moment of kindness.
And I am an unapologetic animation fan, which is why I've seen Tangled. I make no apologies.
You will regret the day you saved my life.
See, and that too.
You know, I really don't care. Do your worst. You can't hurt me anymore.
Like, I love that like, Marcello's response to having his life saved is like, you will regret the day that you saved me. And it just begs for another game. And Jessica's note coming up where she's like, are you going to go after me? He's pretty badly hurt. I think is a fantastic end note to, like, you have no idea what happens to this guy.
Isn't this your ring? Your Templar's ring?
It's yours. It means nothing to me now.
Yeah, he's, like I say, he's such a good villain. I want another Dragon Quest. I want, like, Dragon Quest X/2.
Angelo, are you just going to let him leave? He's really badly
Yeah,
hurt.
she's just like, he might die. Like, all right. So our next thing up will be Dark Ruin, etc., etc., or Dark Black Citadel, etc., etc. I'll see you for that. Bye, everybody.